5 is Sander Van Doorn. Again, 2003, we had a lot of tracks coming out, and he didn't have an agent at the time, and I was speaking to Dan Christian at Duty Free, it was 12 Pause label, and he was like, have you heard that Sander Van Doorn track? And he had different aliases as well, I think Sandler and Purple Haze at the time, Sam Sharp. And then the Sander Van Doorn tracks, you know, Dark Roast, and they were massive tracks, really underground, driving, techie sound, and it was really, really cool. And I thought, I actually got a mix CD from him. I think he was just trying to get gigs and stuff, and we got 2 Termos, and it came to me, and he actually like just handwritten it on with his mobile on there. And I listened to it, because I knew of his production. I gave it a go, and I said to Dan, we should get this guy. I think it's going to be really big, you know, what the Gallery was always about, you know, creating new talent and stuff. And I thought it's going to be one to watch, and we was right, actually. We headlined him. It was Easter weekend in 2003 or 5? I think it's 2005 actually, 2005, and he headlined. We put him above Mark Hovey and John the Blood Fleming, who were very big DJs at the time, and we got a lot of grief off Most Wanted, the agency, saying, who's this guy, Sander Van Doorn, never heard of him, he can't be headlining. And so we're like, no, we're not listening to you, this is what we believe in, and we're going to go with this. And there was another night called, I think it's called Club Nowhere, and it was another trance night that was on, and it was only doing like bank holidays and stuff. And they used to do these flyers, this big DL flyer, and it used to stick out the flyer pack, whereas we're A5. And then so we thought, right, well, this weekend we'll go up against them. And so we did it was a massive like flyer, and then we'd paid extra to get just about another half-inch bigger than theirs. And it had Sander Van Doorn at the top, and just to get one over them. And it was a great night. It was a packed out night. And from there, he became our resident, and we did so much with Sander. And even Most Wanted, the agency who moaned about him, they took him on. I'm very proud to be the one who actually said, look, we've got to do this with this guy, to Danny. And it was kind of my sort of transition a little bit from moving away with doing the membership and the flyer and stuff into the actual being the booker. And it was like Danny took note that I was, you know, I had some sort of talent to, you know, spot these, you know, new rising stars and to make them into big superstars. And Sander did that, certainly, you know, did essential mixes, you know, cover CDs. He just blew up. It was so big in the space of, from our residency, the residency at Gallery, and then the agencies and stuff. He went massive in like 2 years, and we were good mates. We were on the phone to each other, and they were interesting, exciting times. It was having him down there, and his sound was just so fresh. It was so fresh, and the remix. I mean, he did like that SOS was massive. He did Back by Club Demand. God, there was that King of My Castle one. So he'd done some really good cover mixes and stuff, and made him his own. And it was just that sort of man of the moment for 3 years. And obviously he got bigger, and then moved agencies, and then it's like we created something from like, you know, fairly small into something massive, and then we couldn't get a date out of him anymore. Like, what did we do that for? In the end, it's like, you know, we should have kept him to ourselves. But you know, that's the way we do things. That's life. And yeah, I mean, he did the 15th birthday CD, which came out on Ministry, and that was like, you know, 5 years ago now. And after that, it was kind of like job, you know, I had my time with the Gallery a little bit. You know, he got new management, and then a new sound was creating a bit more electro EDM and stuff, and he got right at the beginning of that. Then his management thought the Gallery wasn't his, you know, his actual sound anymore, and we couldn't get dates for him. And it was such a shame, but it was, you know, I understand, you know, you move on. He did his time with us. Eventually, we got him back for the 20th birthday monthly celebrations at the end of May. So it's so good to have him back. And Sander Van Doorn, yeah, crucial, very important DJ, producer at that time, because the Clubland needed something fresh. The Gallery Eternals needed something fresh just to get, you know, new crowd in there. You know, that it was getting a bit, you know, nearly enough 10 years old, and it was about time to have another DJ people could look forward to. He was just very important having Sander Van Doorn at the Gallery. Thank you, Sander. Number 4 is Paul Oakenfold. It's getting a bit tougher now, you know, to who's that top 3. But yeah, he just missed out on the top 3. But number 4, Paul Oakenfold. I think he did the first birthday. I wasn't there then, is what I've heard. When they managed to do a full year of weekly parties, but they had him for the first birthday. I think that's the turning point, and that then like kind of snowballed then, and it just got bigger and bigger. You know, the Gallery was established as a big name sort of club night. I remember I was there 2000. I think it was like my 3rd, 4th night that I was working there, and I remember getting excited. The queue was round the corner. I'd never seen a queue like that. And I don't think we ever sold tickets online. I never remember any sort of like ticket web or anything like that. I think it was just pay on the door. It was a guest list queue and the normal queue, and the queue would go right down from Turnbull Street, near enough to Farringdon Station. It was crazy. But you always used to play 12 till 2 as well, which was, it was just so big, and that's what he wanted to do. Didn't want to do late or anything, and we were kind of like wishing would play later because of that sound, but we was happy to have him there anyway. And the club was packed at like 11:30, and Paul was very, you know, just very influential with everyone around it, you know, the other aspiring DJs and stuff like that, and resident Steve Lee knew him already, Dan Christian. There was all this excitement about Paul Oakenfold playing. He's been playing for years now, from like nearly 19 years it would be, and it still features regularly at Ministry. You know, we're having 2-3 times a year, if it's Perfecto nights or just normal Paul Oakenfold on his own. The Terminals ones are more special for me, I think. It was just because it was exciting. It was like the most exciting DJ at the time. He was #1 in, like, I think 98 or 99 or 2000, something like that, for 2-3 years. And so he was the biggest DJ at the time. And yeah, the music that I used to play was just amazing trance. Loved it. It's a shame that I used to work on the membership desk though. I used to finish at 2 o'clock, so I kind of like nodded my head on the membership desk at the time. It was only later when I was actually doing the bookings and I was in the booth with him and stuff like that. And then again, he used to stick around sometimes. He wanted to do 12 to 2 because he thought he was busy and he had to go somewhere, but then you still see him at 4 in the morning in the studio having a drink. Again, another veteran of the scene. He's been around for a long time and still making waves, still doing it. You know, I think my standout track with Paul, what I always remember, was probably on Huge Tunes, LSG, Neverworld, amazing. And he used to finish that off. He finished it twice, I think, when I saw him. The last track of his set. It's just brilliant, you know. And then the DJ on after would never mix it, just let it play out, and then everyone would be clapping. Yeah, Paul Oakenfold, thank you very much again. Just what a great name to have, part of the gallery. Yeah, Paul, you're #4 in my list. Thank you. At #3, it is the one and only Mr. Armin van Buuren, #1 DJ for 4 years running. This guy was the biggest DJ that we've ever had at the gallery. We had Tiesto and we had Paul van Dyk, but with Armin, he's played a load of times for us. Very big supporter of the gallery. Both Terminals and Ministry of Sound. He's such a cool guy, he is, really nice guy. Again, loves the club, always asking about it. Very upset when Terminals went. He was like very close to me at the time, back in 2003, because he signed on one of my tracks and we met at Global Gavyn and we were talking backstage, and it was a very exciting time for me as well. But then we became friends, we swapped numbers, and even when I knew, I used to have a joke and say, I think you're going to be #1 this year. I bet you £50 you'll be #1. And it was like, oh, I hope so. And then he was like I don't know, 20 or something. And it was like, next year, definitely going to be £50 this year. And then he kept going higher and higher, and it was like #3. And then I think that was the last time we put the bet on. And then I think the year I knew Leslie, right, at DJ Magazine, and I knew he was going to be #1, so I didn't put the bet on that year. But Armin, you know, he used to play, he'd done I think 2 of our birthdays. He did the 13th and the 14th birthday, which were also the launch party at Ministry. And it was really important that we had him, because it was like making a statement from moving from Terminals, going to Ministry of Sound, which Ministry was the biggest club brand in the world. The gallery was like probably London's club night. And having the world's #1 DJ, Armin van Buuren, it was a great statement. And to carry on the gallery in London at a huge venue. And it was like, it wasn't like, oh, Terminals is finished now, we're just going to be a little monthly party. It was a step up, and we just kept getting bigger and better. And I'm very thankful for Armin for doing that and paving the way for the following sort of 7 years, really. And he did about 4 or 5 Christmas parties. He even did a boat party with us. He'd be backstage. You could take a photo with him with a banana in his ear. We used that on the e-flyer. He's just a cool, fun guy. And I remember after the boat party, one of the car companies didn't pick him up, and my mate had a crappy Fiesta, and it was him and his missus and me, and we were all like crammed up in the back with our record boxes as well on our knees. I was like, oh, sorry about this, Armin. He went, oh, it's fine. But he's a cool guy, true professional. What he's done, music, got a massive following. He's a superstar. Yeah, standout track for me, probably Communication, or Blue Fear maybe. Communication, definitely Communication. I was playing that back in I think 2001 as well, when I do my own night sets. He's done too many to choose from, but Communication is my favourite. Very lucky to have Armin van Buuren at the gallery. Thank you very much, Armin. It's been a pleasure, and maybe 25th birthday? #2 is Tall Paul, the founder of the gallery. Started back in 1995. It was Paul's birthday, and basically Paul was becoming a big DJ on the scene, in the UK scene, doing all these Fantasia compilations and featuring up north at Cream and stuff like that. I think he always wanted to do a northern club night with that energy, with the up for it crowd. He wanted to do something like that in London because there was nothing around like that, and he had the idea of doing this. His dad owned the club Terminals. Brother Danny was at the start was one of the bookers. Yeah, it's Paul's night, it's his baby, and
20 years he's been running it, and he's, you know, Tall Paul is one of my favourite DJs. You know, the production side, again, technical DJ, scratching, everything, personality-wise, you know. Again, love speaking to him on the phone, a friend, you know. When I was breaking into getting my foot in the door at Terminals, I think I just started working there. I've been there 2 weeks. And then I went on a holiday with my brother to Ibiza, and I was a bit worse for wear, and it was like in the morning time, and he was doing an interview at Kenya, and I was still up from the night before, and went over there, introduced myself, and he's probably thinking, who the fuck's this? It was just funny, actually, how I met him, and following him around, like, you know, at Cream and Gatecrasher as a clubber, loved him, thought it was brilliant. And then I was actually living in Tenerife, and someone introduced me to the Modern Masters CD, which came out in '98, and I just loved it. It was Tall Paul live, and you know, he just had me hooked in from there, and he's world-class DJ, you know, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And what he's done, you know, everyone out there should be thankful that he started this night at the Gallery. If it wasn't for him, it wouldn't be here. Tall Paul anthem for me at the Gallery, probably Terminals Day. Still plays every now and again here. DJ Sandy, Overdrive, funky as hell, driving, as it says, Overdrive. It's just constant, oh man, it's amazing. I just loved seeing him and his brother at Terminals, and that Danny be doing the lights, Paul be DJing, because they're both pretty tall, and they're like just doing it at the same time in motion, and it's like, oh, it's so good, so funky. And so yeah, DJ Sandy Overdrive was my Tall Paul key track for him. Well, he should be number one because it is his night, but for me, it's my personal top 20, and there's someone else at number one who just clips it by that much, only that much. But yeah, Tall Paul, thank you, you know, job well done, brilliant.
Well, we're at number one from the top 20 countdown. We're seeing trance DJs and progressive DJs, a mixture of personalities and sounds, shall we say. Number one is the one and only Judge Jules. The guy, I love him so much. He's one of my heroes from even going to see Cream in Liverpool and Gatecrasher in Sheffield. He just pipped it over Paul. Paul really should be number one because it was his night and brand and stuff. I hope you forgive me, Paul. But yeah, I think once Gallery went to Ministry, Paul kind of like, you know, he stopped making music, and Jules carried on. He's still doing Radio 1 and doing a lot of trance tracks and being very busy and stuff. And he's been there from day one, and you know, he's always played like good 8 times a year for the past 20 years. Always did like 4 till 6, which I always loved. The guy behind the decks, he's got such personality, charisma. I really enjoy watching what he does. Some of the stuff's crazy, like on the screen and stuff. It's just funny to me, but funny in a cool way. Just Jules, once you know him, he's that kind of guy. And I love the music he's always played, and especially like sort of 99 to 2003, that was like the height of those sort of trance tracks. You know, no dramas from Jules either, just come in, play, go, and that was it. Always did interviews for us, always said really kind messages on video messages for birthdays. Yeah, he was just, the guy's a genius and one of the legends, isn't he, in dance music, not just at the Gallery, but everywhere. You know, stories for what I've got from Jules. I mean, I remember he was my hero, and I was playing somewhere else, and I went down and met him at Radio 1, and I was like, I got my Just Jules Radio 1 pass, and we went on the road. I think we were playing in Shrewsbury or something, but you know, and that's how I bonded with him really from there. And I thought, yeah, this is great. I would have loved, like, you know, 4 or 5 years ago to even like shook Jules' hand or have a picture with him, and now I'm on the road to a gig, just come Radio 1. And standout track for Just Jules, so many again. I remember there was one time, it was Aurora, Who You Calling? I think it was on Positiva, and he dropped it 5 to 6 at Terminals. It was his last track of the night. Steve Lee was getting to go on. And it just amazing. I can still close my eyes and think about this now. I had my hands up in the air, and then this, as I was like, you know, reaching for the laser, and then this girl like touched my hand, and like it kind of went through and went, this is the best track I've heard all night, and we both went for it, and that was my memory of it, and it still stands out pretty clear today. And the other one as well, the Highgate tracks, you know, Pitching, Kane and Unable were massive tracks down there. Yeah, so many, but all good. I just love the guy, and you know, he's been a big asset for the Gallery, Terminals and Ministry of Sound. He did the 18th birthday compilation as well. The guy is my favourite number one Gallery DJ. And I thank all the DJs who have featured in this top 20, and I thank all the DJs who didn't make it. There were too many to choose from, to be honest. Yeah, thank you for everyone. Like I say, it's just a bit of friendly fun, that's all it is. I hope I'm not upset anyone for leaving anyone out, but you know, big thanks, and may it continue for another 20 years. Thank you very much. I'm Gavyn Mytchel, and this is The Gallery.